This week on Edmunds Live, we're joined by Ed Helwig, Aaron Riches, Mike McGrath, and backed by popular demand, Scott Oldham.
That's right.
Now, it might be Shark Week at Discovery,
Aaron, I want to apologize now.
Gosh, you're a jerk.
Just for before
didn't
we
mean
even
that.
start. All right, as well.
moving on already. Might be Shark Week at Discovery, but it's Truck Week here at Edmunds Live, starting off with our full test of the GMC Sierra. Mike, you drove it, you wrote the story. Tell us about the Sierra.
It's been truck month for me. The first one was the GMC Sierra. It's the all-new pickup truck, probably the most important vehicle for GM this year, even though they're debuting a new Corvette. Now, everyone says, Corvette gets this great new LT1. Chevy's not going to develop a new engine just for a low-volume Corvette. They did this for the truck. The truck gets a 5.3-liter version of this engine. It's direct injection, 355 horsepower, cylinder deactivation. This is all sort of evolutionary stuff. It's really good. Where this truck really excels is the interior. They took that low-rent, industrial-grade GMC interior and just turned it up to 11. It's got, GMC's version of Q. It's got navigation, 2 or 3 or 5 USB ports, depending on option. It's really a solid truck.
Now, we actually just bought a Silverado as part of our long-term fleet, and Ed, you drove it all the way to Colorado and back. So
sure, why not?
2,000 miles.
Yeah.
How was it?
I think it's definitely a really good truck too, but the interior is nice, but I think the ride quality is really exceptional, considering that they really didn't change the suspension design at all. And the engine that Mike was talking about actually does deliver pretty incredible mileage. I think I averaged about 22 miles per gallon.
Jeez.
Going usually about 75 to 80 because I was in Utah where that is legal, of course.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
one thing. I made the exact same drive in a Panamera Turbo S.
And it was worse?
And I got the exact same mileage.
Wow.
Oh, well, then you don't need a truck.
Yeah.
So you don't need the truck and you need twin turbos.
No price difference there either.
Yeah. Exactly. They're about the same, right? They're only, 160,000 difference?
Depending on options, yeah.
That's right.
The other truck story was the first drive of the Toyota Tundra. Now, whereas all the other trucks in the segment have been recently redesigned or overhauled, the Tundra basically gets a glorified mid-cycle refresh. Under the skin, it's basically the same. The engine's the same. Nicer interior, though. Is Toyota basically punting in the full-size truck segment?
Yeah, that's the thing, is this truck is just version 1.3. It's not new enough to really make a dent. It looks stranger, and really they're picking up the back of the line in this. To really make a dent in pickup truck sales, they had to go above and beyond everything else, and they didn't even match.
Isn't the new Titan coming? It's going to be...
New Titan is coming next year, but I don't know, I can't blame Toyota here because if you look at the whole sort of development of this, they spent over $1 billion on the Tundra plant 5 or 6 years ago. And then the truck market went in a tank. And all of a sudden they're saying, what's going on here? And so it comes around to redoing it, and they're going to say, yeah, maybe we don't need to spend so much money on a redesign. We can wait it out, see if the truck market recovers. We'll do fine with the refresh. And, maybe the next truck will be radically redesigned. But
Toyota doesn't do fine, though. Toyota is, they make the Camry and the Corolla, cars that sell hundreds of thousands of units. They've got to be jealous that all of the other trucks move.
The Chevy Volt, moving away from trucks, got a big price drop for 2014. It's now $5,000 cheaper, somewhat reflecting customer cash that was on the car for 2013. Now you can, with all these rebates, you could pick one up for about $27,500, which is not that different than a plug-in Prius or a Ford C-Max Energy with an I. Does this make the Volt
I don't think any of that matters. The lease is $50 more a month now, and I think that matters.
Yeah.
Although it's still a very good deal, $299 a month, but it used to be cheaper.
But I think they saw that, they do the lease. They don't want that car traded back in. No one's looking for a used one.
Right.
So make the lease more expensive, try to get people to buy it.
That's true, but still not as good for the consumer.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the lightning round. First up, Mike, the Volt wasn't the only car to get a price drop. The Infiniti G37 is not only living on alongside the new Q50, but a 2014 model will now be $4,800 less than an otherwise similar 2013. If you just bought a G37 last week, how angry would you be?
$4,800 worth of angry. I'd also be kind of angry if I was an Infiniti dealer, because now when people come in looking for a G37, you're going to have to try to upsell them to the Q50, then explain to them what a Q50 is.
I just don't get this decision at all. It makes no sense if they're trying to establish brand identity with Qs in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if it does make sense to have an entry model against the CLA and A3 and yada yada, still.
I think you guys are completely missing the point on this. Now you get a really, really great car that's better than half the cars you just mentioned for far less money. What's the problem?
Yeah, that's definitely the best deal in that segment now. It's like not even close.
Exactly.
G37's a great
As
car.
long as you didn't buy one last week.
As long as you didn't buy one already.
I didn't.
No. Okay, Aaron, Subaru released a teaser trailer for the BRZ STI that will be shown at the LA Auto Show. Do you think the STI version will be as good as everyone hopes it'll be?
If it's turbocharged, it's probably going to be what everyone's looking for. Although in that teaser video, I never saw like a giant intercooler, so that gave me pause.
But you did see a giant wing, which might be all that matters.
Oh.
It's not going to be turbocharged.
What?
No?
No.
Oh, I looked
Did
at
you see it? It says what? Purity and handling. This is going to be a handling package with a moderate boost in power.
Like a TS?
It needs 300 to be fun, and right now at 200, it's just boring.
Well, if that's all it is, that's going to totally sully the STI name. I don't think even Subaru would do that.
Ed, we got our first drive of the next generation Volkswagen GTD, now bound for the States for 2015. The current one outsells the GTI in Europe. How will it do here?
I can't see how it wouldn't do well. I mean, it basically takes a diesel engine that has almost as much horsepower as the current GTI, adds 280 pound-feet of torque, and basically the same suspension setup. Everything looks-wise is the same. And it's supposedly going to get up to 40 miles per gallon, so I mean, there's really no downside to this package. I don't know how they couldn't have brought this car here earlier.
Agreed. Well, Scott, finally we released our list of the 17 worst cars you can buy. If you were forced to drive one of those 17 for the rest of your life, which one would you choose?
I've thought about this long and hard, and I believe it would be the Ferrari California. I would go with the Ferrari, not the Toyota IQ, Scion IQ. It would be the Ferrari.
Even though it is incredibly ugly.
Oh, I would have to wear a bag over my head when I drove it around, but that's the car I would pick.
Well, that does it for Edmunds Live this week. Make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Edmunds. And if you do, you could be our commenter of the week, just like Luis Calderon was on Facebook when he commented about our long-term Silverado. Actually, he had a question. One question I would want to ask is about your thoughts on the seats. They feel very comfortable when I saw one at a dealer, but how well are they holding up so far compared to the previous Silverados? I think you're the perfect person to answer that.
I think they're probably some of the best truck seats I've had, short of maybe the Raptor, because for one, they have really well-shaped kind of sides and everything. You don't really have to adjust them at all. And number two, it has perfect places to set your elbows when you're just driving at a cruise. It has padded armrest on the center console, padded armrest on the door, and the seating position is really good. And I drove 14 straight hours yesterday, and I felt pretty good at the end of it. So can't get much better than that.
Sounds good. Well, we'll see you next week on Edmunds Live.